Welcome to City on a Hill Gaming, a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons actual play podcast. Let's meet our players.
Hi, I'm Grant, and I'm playing Trather Wimlin, a human fighter.
Hi, I'm Jenny, and I'm going to be playing John Abermere, a Crimson-born human.
Peter, Bertrand Greystone, Dwarven Forge Cleric.
William R. Aarakocro Magi.
Daniel, I am playing Vatten. I am a half-elf ranger.
Hi, my name is Ben, and I am Twig, or Shem. I am a rogue bard and a Goliath.
We hope you enjoy our episode. Welcome back to City on a Hill Gaming. I am your Game Master, Ryan, joined this week by our usual party for some more fun D&D antics. Got it.
Got it in one.
First try. Proud of myself. All right.
Hello, folks.
Yep, they're back. Let the antics and puns commence. We have a new exchange rate here on the podcast. We provide the puns, you bring the gifts as payment. Thanks to Joanne for that suggestion. We will do our best to hold up our end of the bargain, and by we, I mostly mean them. Because I make zero promises to my pun abilities, but that's okay.
Each of you owes me 100 animated pictures.
That's right.
And I want my animated pictures.
So the good news is I found a stash of those.
Perfect. In the words
Somebody has collected every under construction GIF from the early days of the web and put them all on one website.
Oh, no.
Oh, my.
It's a thing of beauty.
In the words of Tony from the Nerd of Godcast, whimsical animated GIFs. So you bring those, or Grant brings those, either one. We will throw all sorts of puns at you, I promise.
I'm just saying I'm flooding the market. All right.
Perfect. We will be minus our Ginny this evening. She will be back in the future. When you guys last rolled dice, you had fought a... Oh no, I forgot. Flail snail. That's what it's called.
How could you forget that?
I don't know. I'm looking right at it. Whereas Peter calls
don't
it...
look directly at it.
I mean, like,
actually, definitely
it's the name and the description of that thing. I mean...
I'm going to need to roll a save now. As Peter calls it, and especially Icky Menace.
Yes.
Boy, is it. So you guys have fought that, brought it back to the most curious Magi gentleman, Radden, in his tower, and he presented you guys with a big green glowing cube.
Yes.
That acts sort of as a shield generator, barrier creator thing to protect the orc encampment to the south from flying rocks, and also air elementals.
The things that throw the rocks, which is also important.
Yes. Both of those are important and need big shields. All the shields. So he's presented you guys with two cubes, actually. One giant cube, and by giant I mean I think it was like a couple feet square, but that's kind of big. And then a much, much smaller cube that he gave to John, specifically to give to Bastion. So you guys have you finished with the flail snail thing. He's presenting you with the cube. He looks at you. Well, so you guys did a good job with the flail snail. That's, I'm impressed. So best of luck with your cube. John, I need to borrow you for a little while, if possible, before you take that back to Bastion. If your friends need to go on, that's fine, but I need a favor. I'm going to call in one of my favors. So he and John go back into the tower, and you guys are free to continue as you please with your giant, shiny, and by giant, I'm pretty sure it's actually only like a couple inches. I probably exaggerated earlier. It's fine. Glowy greenish cube of shielding and such.
All right, well,
Yeah.
might as well get this back to the people that we went and dealt with a flail snail on the behalf of.
It glows like flail snail does.
Boy, I hope they're grateful. Oh man, wouldn't it be terrible if they're just like, man, we didn't even ask for this. Why?
Bertrand still has kind of a singed smell to him.
That'll air out in a day or two,
Yeah,
and totally won't come back up again when you're walking through the desert sweating profusely.
No, of course not.
It's fine. It's a dry heat. You're good. So it will take you guys a day or two to head back south to the orc encampment, if that is where you want to go next. Or I believe your other option was to head northwest-ish from where you are currently. I need a compass. To find the crow and his men after they came and stabbed a big giant piece of paper into the desk at the harvest, where he was kind of like, "Hey, stop that! You guys are not nice." And by not nice, I mean good at your jobs.
That's 6 of one, half dozen the other.
Potato.
Potatoes.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, there it was. Perfect.
All right. Well,
Kuna Matata.
It means no starches
no
for the rest of
tubers.
your days?
For the rest of your days. Sorry, I'm being silly.
Okay, we're good. Before we get a copyright strike.
hash browns and cheese.
I'm not good enough at a singing to risk us a copyright strike. I
Not either. We're probably fine. New podcast idea. All right. So I'm just gonna. You guys grab the cube and pack up. Walk past your big furry, grumpy friend, and head south back to your orc friends. Takes you a day or two, but you get back close to the edge of the desert and see what is fairly certain, maybe not so much like a regular dust storm, but maybe in the far distance, 3 air elementals.
3?
Headed in the general-ish direction of the village encampment place.
Are we still using the wagon?
You can be, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Great. I'm going to try and kick our horse into a gallop. Or
And-
at least, trot.
Okay, yeah, go for it. That's fine.
Yeah,
and animal handling.
That's
okay. It's a medium trot.
fine.
It's faster.
Or Megas, you know how to activate this thing, yes?
Hang
what
on.
would you say to you riding ahead and the rest of us catching up with you?
Okay, while he's trying to encourage the horse, I'm going to ride up beside it and see if I can help it along a little bit, because I also have animal handling.
Okay,
So I helped it a little.
a little.
So it went from an 8 to an 11. And if you guys stay with me, because desert's favored terrain, you don't have to worry about that impeding us in any way.
It's
So
not
we
nothing.
can move over it just fine.
William, make me an Arcana check with advantage because of your book that gives you advantage on Arcana checks.
think that
Yeah,
one'll
okay,
work.
perfect. Natural 20. You're fine. So that's a 25 or a 16, both of which are totally acceptable. All right, so Vatten and Trather spur on the horses, whatever, and you guys kind of make a good speed as R fiddles with the cube sitting in the back of the wagon, and you get to sort of the edge of the gate of the encampment, and you see them kind of trying to pull together who they can to fight off the air elementals. Gron, I believe, was the orc gentleman you guys dealt with when you were in the encampment last. He sees you guys from a distance. Hi. Oh. Ah, you're back. Good. Please help. Yeah, help, please. That's a lot. It's a lot of air elementals. So if any help would be appreciated.
Yes, of course. Those of you who understand any part of how this thing works, go ahead and begin setting up, and I'm going to head to the front lines.
So R has a pretty good idea, having studied the cube, that basically he just needs to set it somewhere stable, and it kind of senses its own danger.
All right. Well, good thing he can fly and put it up somewhere high. Meanwhile, as soon as I get up to the wall, I would like to just do like an acrobatics roll to see if I can just scale the wall, like right up to it, hop off my horse and just scale the wall so I can get a good vantage point.
Roll hardcore parkour.
Hardcore parkour 7.
You look
Parkour is not hardcore, sir.
you look just about as graceful as possible, stumbling, rolling twice without hurting yourself, which is not nothing, and hopping about 3 feet in the air before coming back down.
Hardcore parkour.
Got
Ow.
there.
A thump.
You really need to stop trying to do parkour in this city.
It's not going great. That is the
It is-
second time, isn't it?
It
Yeah.
is.
It's the dust.
It's
It's-
Makes
there's sand
everything
in my
slippery.
eye.
Everything is just awkward in this town. But yes, luckily R is able to place the cube as necessary, and they probably only get maybe within 100 or so yards of the encampment before this. The cube doesn't move; it just sort of disappears for a second, and then the entire encampment is covered in kind of this greenish blue, teal, whatever, seafoam green. We'll go with that. I like that.
Ooh, seafoam. Very calming.
Yes, seafoam green, shimmering shell, and the elementals kind of close the distance. And if you want to be inside the shield, that's fine. If not, that's also fine.
Ooh, wait, if we're inside the shell, can we hear the ocean?
I mean, it was seafoam green.
That's my fault. You're right.
I
That's
mean,
on
it's
me.
just going to be waves of sound. That's that's just
no, I'm
science.
so sorry. Yep, there it is. All right.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't comprehend the depth of this joke. I mean,
I don't even have to add sound effects. Daniel's taking care of it for me. Perfect.
You have no proof that was me.
It was you. The elementals close the distance, and you see some of the shards fly out of the elementals and just sort of dissipate when they hit the shield. Like they kind of, it's like the disappearing thumb thing. Like when it looks like you've pulled your thumb off and reconnected it.
Oh.
Like they just, like, as each inch or whatever of the giant rock hits the shield, it just slowly disappears somewhere. It doesn't come through, it doesn't explode, it doesn't, it's just gone. And the elementals look, confused, as an elemental can look. And they get close, and the winds kick up, and you see the dust really kick up and the wind kick up. But inside the dome, you're fine. And it appears to roughly cover basically the entire encampment and like the surrounding areas outside of it where they have like small barns and stables and stuff. Everything seems pretty well covered, and the elementals kind of rush at it, but nothing happens. And after 10 or 15 minutes, they slowly just seem to weaken and kind of dissipate. Just kind of roll back up into the sky. One more shard flies out of the desert and just flies straight into the barrier and disappears, and everything seems to calm down.
All
I
right.
tend to look at Vatten and be like, if he can do that with a flail snail, the next time we run into that dragon, we should offer to buy some scales and take those back and see what we can do with them.
That would be good. So after it took them like 10 or 15 minutes to leave, I finally make it to the top of the wall, panting,
About
exhausted.
the time they leave, yeah.
I'm just like, hi. Oh, it's all right, everybody. We brought you a shell shield.
Fight me, IRO. You're gone. Cool. You're
You're
welcome.
Oh, I gotta do some more cardio.
Yeah. So Ron looks at the five of you. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, definitely thank you. I don't know how you did that exactly, but that's okay. Ooh, that's nice looking. What is that?
That's our shell shield.
Shell shield.
Yeah.
Was made by unknown means from the shell of a flail snail.
Oh, whale snail. Pain memory.
Don't ask
response.
about the.
Ugh.
Yeah, don't ask it. Icky.
Very. That's okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, we didn't want to just leave you in a situation where you were going to keep dealing with these arrow mental attacks with no specialized protection. Hopefully that holds for a while.
Yeah. I think she'd rather I said this than not. If you ever need a place to work out of down near the desert, you're welcome here.
We appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah. Yahweh bless you.
You as well.
He walks over and just kind of, he's about to poke it, but then he thinks better of it and stops. And by this point, the shell is kind of collapsed back in on itself, and the cube's just sitting there.
Yeah, I would. Whew, sorry. All right. Yeah, I would recommend just putting that at like your highest watchtower, and that way, hopefully, winter if it goes off, someone will be able to see why, and it'll keep it safe.
Okay, so has anyone seen Mulan?
Yeah,
I'm
of
going
course.
to make an incredibly
Yeah.
obscure Mulan reference. So the start of the movie, when the Huns first cross the wall and they light all
Yep.
the watchtowers.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that made me think of.
Yeah.
Because I just rewatched that like 2 weeks ago or something.
Ages
Excellent.
since I've seen that movie, but yeah, that's cool.
One of my favorites.
Quest complete sound plays.
I'm glad we were all
Feels
thinking of
what
the
game
same
they
sound.
played most recently.
Yeah. Wait, what sound did they make in Overwatch when you win? I don't worry about it. It's fine.
Da-da.
Yep, that's basically it. Yep.
Grassy.
No. Wait.
The different game, yeah. So if I remember correctly, your plan was to deal with it. I missed a great opportunity to at least make some kind of Winnie the Pooh blustery day reference there.
Hey, I mean, it'll come
Disappointed
again.
myself. Yeah, it probably will. I mean, what? So your plan was to deal with this issue, then go look into the crow thing, correct?
Yes, and kind of go around and come up from the south.
Okay, yes, towards the both for you and me and the listeners, to make sure I'm remembering this correctly, the encampment they had taken from a sort of nomadic group of
Kitty people.
Yeah. Not Tabaxi, but similar to Tabaxi. The sort of encampment they had taken over from the nomadic people that I believe you guys made some rolls and found out were called...
Tefrensi?
The what?
The Tefrensi?
No. Almost.
Sorry.
they are called the Jedit. No, that's not just Jedi with a T at the end. It's a word I stole from Magic the Gathering. It's fine.
It's a kind of cheese.
Or that.
It's not.
Okay,
Sure.
I was going to go with
You were
it.
gonna believe me. That's pretty.
Yeah,
close.
you were. I was 100% on board with that. To Frontsy because Tabaxi.
Yep.
That took me a minute and I'm sad. Is that the plan you wish to proceed with?
Yes, I think we can proceed with that.
Oh, yep, that's my fault. Our audience will love it, so that's okay.
Yeah.
That's all that really...
If these puns are
Actually,
happening too
matters.
fast, be sure to pause.
There it was. So you can write them down and use them for later.
We're just clawing those up, yeah.
Yep. Okay, so...
If we keep this up, Ryan will be furious.
Now I'm sad. Okay.
Oh, that's worse.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so you guys head northwestish. It takes a couple of days of just kind of heading out of the desert into the plains, out of the plains into more desert, frankly. There were trees occasionally. There are some trees. Okay, so you guys head back north into the desert. If you take a look at your map, you are nearing the mark Brinar and Saley and Bastion put on your map for where Greven should be. The sort of nomadic encampment, former nomadic encampment, now turned orc encampment. But not the good kind like the last one. This one housing the orcs who fight under the banner of the Crow. The mantle of the Crow. Perception.
13.
21. Finally rolling something.
There's a thing.
50. Wow, that's a 3.
Yeah, misclicks that got really good.
Yeah, it's a solid persuasion.
He's really convinced himself he has no idea where he's at.
Perfect.
See, I thought he was trying to convince the desert to show him what he needed. I mean, he is a bard. That might not be outside the realm of possibility. Come on, desert! Tell
I
me
do
what
have
I
fan songs.
Show me your paths. So in the distance, you guys, and everyone sees this first part. In the distance, you kind of, as you follow the desert up, you see a couple of things. You see a small creek that runs through the desert. You guys are on the right side of the creek. On the left side of the creek and sort of above it, what looks like a nomadic encampment. There's kind of a stone bridge. There are a bunch of nomadic tents. There are a bunch of piles of rubble. There are a bunch of orcs, and Peter and Daniel and Grant. Let's go with those. Trather, Vatten, and Bertrand notice. So you guys start to see the edges of these buildings and all the fun orcs, and one much larger building. But what you guys notice off in the distance, sort of behind one of the buildings, you see 3 humanoid-style creatures that aren't orcs.
Humanoid-style creatures that aren't
Yes.
orcs.
That was the best thing I could think to say, so I went with it.
Style creatures.
2 legs, 2 arms.
Couple
Two
dozen
of both
noses.
of those things. No, not that, no. Imagine the allergy problems. Ugh. Not enough
I mean, that's
Zyrtec in
probably
the world.
desert. You know, if you live anywhere with pollen, if you've got a couple dozen noses, you're just done.
Legends tell that a sneeze could level a forest. Please don't make that into your campaign.
No, absolutely not. Never.
That's not something I want to deal with.
I'm so that was just yep. Yep, that was about what I was looking for actually. Yeah. Exactly what I expected.
All right, moving on.
So
Sorry.
you see these 3 larger humanoid creatures that look like I said, they're sort of resemble tabaxi but bigger.
Okay.
Like if a tabaxi more resembles a smaller cat or like moderate-sized forest creature, these more resemble like lions and tigers and pumas.
Don't.
So
I did. It's okay.
not a modestly sized forest.
No, modestly sized forest kitty, like a lynx or something. Yeah, there we go, lynx.
They have kind of more of a solid, bulky build than the lithe, skinny one, huh?
Correct, and they're just naturally larger.
Okay.
And you see 3 of them.
Are these like Goliath sized?
No,
bigger,
no,
smaller?
No. Smaller than Goliath. Just think like real big, like elf. Like elf or taller, but built like an orc.
Okay.
Like sort of orc sized.
All right.
Actually, just in general, let's just go with orc sized. And you see 3 of them hiding. Hey, Blairy. Or actually, not Blairy. That might have been Ben's train.
Oh, that's
Nope,
That
Larry.
was Blairy. Okay.
No more Ben train.
You see 3 of them sort of hiding behind one of the buildings. It looks kind of like they're planning until one of them, the bottom one who's closest to you, looks over and sees the 5 of you.
All right, since I noticed them, I'm just going to quickly put a hand up to my face in a shh motion.
The one who sees you motions to the other 2. He looks kind of confused for a second, then he realizes what you're saying. He just kind of nods. He looks alarmed originally because, new intruders. But you seem to have put him at ease to some extent. And the orcs currently that you see kind of milling around have not noticed you.
I mean, we did just kind of walk up here, so I don't know what we were expecting to happen, but
well, I mean, you guys are far enough away that they won't see you as long as you don't just,
okay.
You further away than appears. So you have some giant jetted cat people and some orcs and some water and a bridge.
And a bridge.
Can we maybe just send our 2 stealthy people over there to like link up with them and chat for a bit and see what they want to do?
That sounds surprisingly plan-like.
That was way better of an idea than I had.
I mean, I was just going to disguise self and go in.
Yeah, no, that's actually sneaking up and talking to them is something Vatten should have thought of and probably needs to think of. Me, Daniel, was like, we'll just see what happens and then charge in to distract them.
Bertrand's suggestion
We
seems
should coordinate. Yeah.
more workable. That's also okay with me.
Would I know something that would not startle them as far as like human, like I know going in with regalia would probably be a bad idea, like last time. But is there like a merchant trader that I'm aware of that comes near here?
Sure. When you left, the Goliath Kingdom, the caravan you traveled with, some of them do come to this area.
Okay.
On occasion. You remember seeing this kind of general area as part of their route when you looked at their maps as you guys were kind of traveling first into Onwaru.
Then I'll go ahead and cast Disguise Self.
Okay.
As just a common merchant. And I'll follow whoever goes else, and we'll just kind of.
All right. I
can be a distraction if needed.
Yeah, I'm going to sneak over to the Jedit and see what's going on. If for
Okay.
some reason they see or notice the Jedit, then I'm just going to direct everyone because all the orcs will be running at this way. So if you guys come up here, you could probably flank them.
Okay.
Just as the suggestion, but I'm going to sneak over there and see what their plans are.
Okay, Daniel, make me a stealth check with advantage because Shim is also sneaky and you're sneaking together.
Ooh. Bum, 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 bum. That's what the sound they make in Scooby-Doo when they have to sneak, right? Except they just drum the high end of the xylophone when they do it.
And Shin has a really hard time not doing that on the flute as we're walking.
Stop that. Stop. Not now.
Toot, 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 toot.
Perfect. Okay, so you two make your way. Let's go up.
For the listeners, I rolled an 18 and a 17 on stealth.
Both
so
of
pretty
which are
sneaky.
more than enough. You make your way up to where the three Jedits stand. Look a little unsure of Vatten, but Shim, you see maybe almost a sparkle of recognition.
Uh-oh.
Not in a bad way. Not in a bad way.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Oh.
Boy, I hope they speak common. He thinks to himself.
Yeah.
So the one in the front actually takes a step to the side and appears to kind of be holding that corner. And this one, the one that was here on the right, sort of a bigger, almost jaguar looking, with a big mace, steps forward. Merchants. Yes?
More or less.
Yes. Vatten says, sweat pouring down his face.
Just melee travels, and this is my security protection. Just to make sure I don't die in the wilderness out here, out in the desert.
As you can see, we are no longer in a position to barter.
Yeah, I was actually more curious about what you're doing here. This doesn't seem like a normal position for you guys to be skulking around. Not that I'm part of them. I'm just curious as to if we're going to have problems with us walking through.
The gentleman, the Jedit who's standing closest to the tent, who kind of looks like he's keeping watch over that area, almost more like tiger-like in appearance. He as you kind of ask your questions, he very much looks upset and looks like he wants to be very loud, but the one in the back kind of calms him. And the one who originally spoke to you, this is no longer where we make camp. We came to see if the orcs had stayed. Unfortunately, they have.
And this was your village?
At one time. Minus the large tower in the middle.
Yeah.
The
That
tents
seems to be
are ours.
popping up a lot.
Unfortunately, yes. We have moved elsewhere temporarily, though I do not intend on staying there.
Are you guys here just as reconnaissance or with intent?
Reconnaissance. The other two look less certain of that answer on a personal level, but he appears to be the one giving orders, so sure. We'll stick with that for now.
But willing to, if noticed, actually step in and throw some paws.
Catch these paws. So the biggest one, the jaguar, kind of looks at you. This place was once one of our homes. I believe you call them. I just completely blanked on the word. Sorry.
Villages?
Yeah, I believe you call them nomads.
Oh yeah.
We are a traveling people. The orcs came some time ago and took over our camp.
Do you have plans on clearing them out?
I am uncertain at this time how I will proceed.
No.
They hold several of my people.
Oh.
Where?
Yeah.
In the tower.
Mm-hmm. That is a tall tower.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've been known to hold my own if needed, and my man here is also quite adept.
Are the other three with you as well?
Oh yeah, yeah, you saw those. Yeah, they're with us. We were coming to make sure that you didn't need help, but apparently we could all do something together to free your people.
How long would it take you to get reinforcements?
We are not large in number. Small tribe. Maybe 10 or 15 warriors.
How long would it take for your warriors to gather, to prepare?
It would take us almost a day to return to camp, and not long after to be able to leave again with maybe 15 warriors.
All right, so realistically, looking at the tower, out of character,
okay.
Realistically, looking at the tower,
3 or 4 stories up, you have no idea how much under. Heavy stone, well built, well fortified, new looking.
Decent sized doors.
Yes, you find, since he says the tower is not theirs, you find the fact that the orcs have only been here a relatively short time, but this full tower is also here to be unusual.
Yeah.
That, as a note, this is the second time, as you guys mentioned earlier, where towers have just kind of shown up places where the crows men have been. Your further questions of tower, Daniel?
I was kind of hoping for like a rickety lean-to that looks easy to
push over,
and then
huff and puff, and I'll blow your tower down,
and then light on fire as a signal.
Oh no, sorry, no.
Yeah, no, that.
No, this seems to be like a very well constructed fortress. Insert solitude comment somewhere.
Out of curiosity, how many of your people are being held in the tower?
2.
Are they fighters?
One is not.
Okay, so if we got them out, would they be able to? In the midst of battle, if we got them out, would they be able to join? And
one is willing, one is not. Is maybe more correct.
Right. Because I was thinking I could do a little bit if we wait till like night, if that's amenable to you, and I can throw some lights in the distance as if there's a campfire coming our direction or an encampment to maybe draw out some of the orcs.
His eyes
come from another direction.
His eyes actually sort of flare a little bit. Night would be of preference to us.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Because out of character, I have dancing lights, and I can do the whole getting in with the oil lamps off on the horizon.
Oh, I like it. Okay.
Yeah. The false army.
Yeah.
Trick and draw them out of the city And then we would just have to take a tower.
or just a handful of them, even.
Sure,
Just to reduce their numbers,
Sure. Okay.
because I'm not sure how many are in
I
the
could
tower.
probably, also out of character, I could probably help you with that with thaumaturgy. 'Cause
Ooh,
that lets me make some nice loud noises and stuff. So
what's the distance on thaumaturgy?
let me check.
He looks at you.
30 feet, so I'd have to be hidden somewhere relatively close by.
Right.
If it would be of use, we can return to our camp, regroup, and return here if you would like.
Yeah, we could do that. Maybe not quite so close to the actual village, since is this like as to scale as they're right up next to a building?
Yes, they were hiding behind one of the rather large tent structures.
Yeah. Why don't we direct them to more where like back where we were?
Okay.
Because if there's a big group of them, like meet us over there and we can coordinate. But I think we can do something to at least improve our odds.
They kind of move over to the right, and you see them. I assume you guys kind of, if you regroup and follow them, you walk for about an hour or so. And in the distance, you see a camp by another stream. And in the distance, you see that camp. You kind of approach it, and you see a much bigger group of these Jedit, who seem to have sort of settled in this area, albeit in not sort of like, this looks very haphazard almost.
Yeah.
Making it work. And you see probably 10 to 12 viable warriors. He welcomes you into the camp. If you wish, it is time for us to eat anyway. You may join us.
Thank you. Bertrand will walk over to Our and ask him how his night vision is.
That's a good question.
Can Aarakocra see in the dark?
No.
I kind of don't think so.
No, as
I do have a light.
yeah,
There's that.
Well, that kind of diminishes the whole fly over in the dark and scout for us without being seen thing I was hoping for.
Yeah, a little bit. I do
Yeah.
have invisibility though.
Oh, that would work, especially if you weren't attacking. So,
Yeah,
That's
if
not
I had
nothing.
night vision.
well,
I'll
and
say.
they've probably got fires and stuff burning down there, anyways. We could get a sense of like their numbers, how many of them, are in different places.
And yes, you do. You saw while you were there, there were a large number of sort of stationary, pre-built places where they light fires every day.
Yeah, and I also, because I took the Gloomstalker specialty for Ranger, I have like double range dark vision.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
All
the
the
night,
darkness.
is my friend.
Okay.
Bat Ranger.
Yes.
I am the Bat Ranger. All right, new T-shirt.
Are you vengeance and are you the night?
Yeah.
Are you
I-
are you vengeance in the night, or are you the terror that flaps in the night?
Yeah, I think it's more of the latter.
'Cause that's
than
my
the former.
preference, if we're being honest.
I am the terror that flaps in the night.
Is it time to get dangerous?
Yes.
Darkwing Duck is always the answer if it's one of the options.
Doesn't
Okay.
matter what the question is. Darkwing Duck is the answer. I
Does D&D have an anthropomorphic duck race?
don't think so. At least not yet.
They sure
Of course it
can.
does.
Interesting. Okay.
When there's trouble, you call DW.
I mean, you could kind of make an Aarakocra in that vein.
Hey, you could just skin it that way. Yeah, I guess that's true.
The second edition monster manual has, I think, like at least 4 different humanoid water birds.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay. What I want now is an Aarakocra reskin that's a penguin. So it's an Aarakocra that can't fly
But it's really fancy and gets all
Yes.
into all the really nice dress parties.
and is the most adorable of Aarakocras.
Also, the most affordable.
I have this idea of this Aarakocra waddling around, but with a mace strapped to its back. It's whatever, it's fine. Okay, so he invites you into the camp. My name is Dranonia. It is a pleasure to meet you.
Dranonia.
We are the Jedit. I do not need to know why you are here originally. Your help is always appreciated.
We will help you get your home back if we can.
So he invites you to sit. Food is brought out, and it is probably 3-ish hours until dusk.
I've dropped disguise self.
They look a little confused, but they roll with it.
Well, before we got to camp, I just with the three of them.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Drops the sky self, breaks out pan flute. Everyone starts looking worried. They had no idea what they were in for.
I remember the last time, man. We can't go back to that inn anymore.
Secretly trying to determine how much they like.
To leave.
You're not wrong. Secretly trying to determine how much they like Ed Sheeran.
Right.
It's never an easy question. Okay.
They probably like Cat Stevens.
Oh.
Sorry, Def Leppard?
Oh, that's my fault. That's on me. I apologize.
Pantera?
Okay, so you guys sit down. You eat, if I may ask. Though it is admittedly none of my business. What brings you to our area? The crow is not one often trifled with by others.
They started it.
Not wrong.
Oh. City on a hill. Now with the exact same motivations as a preschool class. Thanks for listening to City on a Hill Gaming. For more information, you can find us online at cityonahillgaming.com, email us at cityonahillgaming@gmail.com, or find us on Twitter at cityonahillgame. For more information on saving the game, you can find Peter, Grant, and Jenny at stgcast.org or at Saving the Game on Twitter. Thanks, and have a blessed day. Daniel, words, please.
To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, to by opposing end it. Should I go on, or is that fine?
No, you're good.
All right.
You have inspired me, though. Next time, I'm going to pull Mr. Akiona and try and do as much of Romeo as I can remember.
But light from yonder window breaks, tis the east, and Juliet is the sun. Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon who is but pale and sick with grief. That one?
That thou her maid art more fair than she. Yeah.
Her vestal livery is but sick and green and numb, but fools do wear it, cast it off. And that's where you're supposed to start crying.
Perfect. We got bonus points for that in 9th grade, for however much of that we could recite. Good times.
Boy, did it lodge itself in my brain.
You're not wrong. All right. Peter.
What troubles you, Chiron? The older knight inquired. You walk as though the weight of the mountains presses upon you. The crossing is hard, but all who become Illumai have performed it. Chiron, the younger knight, was quiet for a while before he spoke. I'm not like the other Illumai, Arlen. My father wasn't a lantern knight. My fondest childhood dream wasn't to be the protector of lost travelers. I didn't grow up in this city, watching other knights haul poor lost souls in from the cold. I am one of those lost souls. He held up his left hand and pulled off his thick leather gauntlet, exposing a tattoo of a chain encircling a bundle of blackened tree branches. This is called a mark of condemnation. The chain means that I am in exile. The branches mean that I confessed my crime. They don't mark people with these for stealing bread, Arlen. Arlen reached over and took Chiron's wrist, drawing it closer so he could examine the tattoo. Your self-awareness does you credit, Chiron, but which part of this indicates that within an hour of entering the city you'd stop a potential murder? Because 3 of us saw you do that. Chiron opened his mouth to speak, but made no sound. Do you think you are uniquely evil, Chiron? That your sin is somehow novel or noteworthy? That despite repeated assurances to the contrary, do you think that God has decided that you are the one that he is going to make an example of? He sighed. Of course you do. Everyone does. No man or woman that has walked those 20 feet through the river has ever been convinced that they were worthy to do so. Why do you suppose that is? Chiron looked hopelessly at the older knight. Because every single one of them was right. Evil's borders wind through every soul, Chiron. None of us ever managed to stand on the side we wish to for our entire life. Cross the river, Chiron. You will emerge cleaner, and then I can give you these. He hefted the lantern and the bundle meaningfully. This is where we part for now, Kyron. Go with God.
That's more from your thing.
Yes.
The story. Nice.
Yep.
I like
That's the next page of it. So,
that. William, say hi or hello or other things.
Hi or hello or other things.
Perfect.
Great.
Love it. And Grant.
If a driver wants to ram something or someone with the vehicle, then treat it as a melee attack. The target must be within the vehicle's walking or running range. A -3 dice modifier applies if the driver has to resort to running. The driver rolls reaction plus a vehicle skill plus or minus handling to attack. The target rolls reaction plus dodge if a pedestrian, or reaction plus vehicle skill plus or minus handling if driving another vehicle. If the driver gets more hits, he hits the target. Make the damage resistance test as normal. The base damage value of the attack is determined by the ramming vehicle's body and speed, as noted on the ramming damage table. The ramming vehicle must resist only half that amount, rounded down. Characters resist ramming damage with half their impact armor, round up. If the ram succeeds, each driver must make an additional vehicle test to avoid crashing. The threshold for the ramming driver is 2, the threshold for the rammed driver is 3.
3 notes. When that started, I was deeply concerned. Second
Was
note,
that-
now I'm
was
just
that-
mostly confused. Third note,
Palladium or White Wolf?
I'm just hoping it's a
I
crazy...
leave it as an exercise to the reader to figure out which edition of Shadowrun that was.
Oh, it's not from a crazy
Oh, okay.
taxi RPG someone made? That's
Uh,
disappointing.
You know what? That just sounds like the most interesting word problem I've ever tried to solve.
Which is why I adore Shadowrun. I absolutely adore it and run it with other systems.
There's a lot of honesty that feels very accurate to me, though I know nothing about Shadowrun.
Touche.
Yeah. I mean, it's a wonderful setting, and I love it dearly. It's got a very, very important place in my gaming heart. Only crazy people want to use the actual system provided in any given Shadowrun book.